All right. Hello, everybody. Yes, I'm going crazy. Um, Kind of proves, I guess, my point that I am a guy who lives and dies sports because I don't know what I'm doing without any live games. So I ended up watching 1980 Lakers Sixers Magic's rookie year. I'm watching 1987 Celtics Lakers game four. I'm watching tennis. I'm watching previous games I've got recorded. So it's tough. It's tough, trying times for everybody. I've received hundreds of emails, as you can imagine, asking when we can get back in the gym. I would say roughly 88.5% of the emails are, can we still practice, please? Can we get in the gym? Can we do things? And probably roughly 11 point whatever percent are saying, we're not going to practice. We're going to wait. So like I said, a majority of the emails I'm getting are requesting that we uh, get back in the gym. Whether or not we do is to be determined more by how things go. I think on Friday we were going to practice, and then things changed. By Sunday, we're not practicing. So we're going to wait and see on Friday what we're going to do. And if I think the CDC has 50 or less, I think Trump wants 10 or less people together at once. We'll go by what CDC's request. We might just have one team practice at a time in the entire gym, which will let you guys split up to different baskets. We'll have 8 baskets where we can work on skills and drills. We can go over some sets where we're, the only guys in the gym. That's an option. And we can start at 8 in the morning and go all the way till 8 p.m., which will be a little difficult for us, but I'd rather do that than go stir crazy, with nothing to do. So that's an option. Another option would be just to wait it out and see what happens. We're going to do a lot of research and see what the CDC says and see if we can get a flat line on this a little bit, but we'll be cautious and we're never going to require anybody to be there if they don't feel comfortable. Um, if you're asking me off the top of my head, I have no idea. We're going week to week. Um, we're hoping it would be better so we can go on Monday with one team at a time. And we're spread out enough where it really wouldn't be a problem. If the virus gets worse, we'll probably obviously curtail that. So time will tell. We'll send an email Friday and probably again on Sunday, and we'll go from there. With regards to the season, we're going to definitely maintain our 12 weeks. If we have to go into the summer, we'll do that. And the most important tournaments are later in the spring and in the summer. We'll just have to see what all these tournament companies are going to do with their tournaments, and we'll go from there. It's as far as where you are and on what team you're on, I think you need to understand a couple things, and that is that it doesn't matter what team you're on when you're 13 years old, 14 years old. What matters is what team you're on when you're 17 years old. That's what matters. If you're not, it's the old adage, would you rather play on a team where you're going to have to be the main guy or girl and really develop and play 30 minutes a game, or would you rather be on a team where you moved up a level but you're the ninth person on the team and you play 10 or 15 minutes a game? Now, I had the same situation when I was in high school. I could have transferred to Mater Dei, been the ninth man, been a good role player, won a state championship. Or I could have stayed at North Torrance High School, had to do everything, be the best player on the team, had to do everything from pressing, calling plays, offense, scoring, defense, rebounding, and not win as much. Well, I'd rather play more and get better, and I got a scholarship because of it. So, what matters to you if you're 13 years old, the only question you should be asking me is what team can I play on where I will be asked to do the most and I will develop the most. Your question should not be, can I play with my friends? Can I play on a higher level team? It really should not be your question. I've been doing this a long time. If you are playing on a team where you are playing 30 minutes a game and you're asked to do 7 different things, you're going to develop and you're going to get better. If you're playing on a team where you're the ninth man and you're playing 16 minutes a game and you're asked to just do 3 or 4 things or 1 or 2 things, you're not going to develop as much. Now, if you're, a stickler and you say, I have to be on this team, well, oh, well, I'll put you on the team and we'll see how you develop. But what matters is how good are you when you're playing on this team. This is the 17 Red national team. On this team, we have 4 eligible basketball players, meaning Josh Reeves, Perry, Evan, and Ryan. Everyone else is younger. Of all 4 of those players, all 4 are playing in college. Josh Reeves received a Division I scholarship. At this point in time on this film, when this film was taken, Josh Reeves had 0 offers and nobody interested. He was willing to do what I said and did things the way I said. And when this summer season was over, he had multiple Division I and multiple Division II offers. He now is a Division I scholarship athlete. So, if you had to go and play 13U, 14U, 16U, 17U, and then you played 17U for 2 years, that's fine. You're gonna play at the next level. Or you can go 15U right away and then stick there for a while because you're not developing. And then you only get to the 17U level for 1 year. So again, I know what I'm doing. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. It matters if you're getting better. Some of you I put on a team because I want you to get better. I want you to expand. Maybe on the 15U team, you're only going to be a shooter. But on the 14U team, you have to be a point guard, a 2 guard, a defender, a rebounder, and a captain, and you have to play 30 minutes a game. Oh, I can move you up to the, 14U or 15U, and you'll play 12 minutes a game, and just all you do is shoot. So it's something that it's hard for a lot of you to swallow because you want to play on the higher level team. But what you don't know is what I do know, and that is you won't develop as much. And then guys who you played on the 15U team and your friend or another guy played on the 14U, and then you went 15, 15, 16, 17. The other guy went 14U to 16 to 17 because he developed more. He got better, or she. You don't need to worry so much about what team you're on when you're 13 or 14 years old. What matters is how long will it take me to get to this team? On this team, you have Evan, Ryan, and Reeves. All 3 are going to college. You have Mandros, who's a sophomore, and Sean, who's a junior. So they were younger. But this is the level of team you want to be on. If you look at this, it's an NCAA level certified event. There's probably 30 courts. There's college coaches watching. The ones that aren't watching, we film the games, as you can see, and then we send the films to the college coaches. And Josh Reeves went from a no-name to 10 to 15 colleges wanting him right away. So what matters is how well you play during this week. This week is where you're either made or you're broken. All those 13U games and 14U games and 15U games, they were just meant to get you to this point. Whether you won or lost is irrelevant. Did you improve? Did you develop? And can you now play and perform in front of college coaches? We are playing a team from New Jersey in this film that on paper was much better than us. On paper, they were one of the main teams there. On paper, they probably looked at us and said, who are these guys? They weren't asking that afterwards. Their coach came up to me and said, we have not gotten our butts kicked like this in a long time. So it doesn't matter how well you play on 13U, 14U, 15U. What matters is how well you play on 17U. So your goal, no matter what level you're at, should be to be on this team. We also have a 17 blue team. Your goal is to be as good as you can be on that team. On the blue team, primarily younger players, but we have guys like Nate Brinkman and Kyle Harrell and Lorenzo and other guys. There's a lot of guys I'm missing that are older guys that are going to get a ton of minutes on that team. If I put them on this team, they would get 10 minutes. On that team, they have to be major players and they're playing the same level of competition. We also have younger guys that are there to develop so that they can get to college. So when we're watching this film, you now know who we are playing against. This is a top team where most of them are going to be Division 1 and Division 2 players. This is Josh Reeves. That is Sean. I have no idea what's going on here. And what you'll also see at these tournaments is these referees are future college or high school refs, and they are running a referee camp here in conjunction with this tournament. So you'll see sometimes 3 referees, and they're being graded on how they're doing. And again, this is a high-level team, and we knew Josh had to be recruited as a point guard. Got to make these shots. But you could see that we were a very good team because we played together and we had big guys. This is Evan missing a shot he normally would make, and then Ryan having more size. So when you're watching this film, this is the level we want you to get to. It's the same system we play. Whether you're on 12U, 11U, or 17U, we run the same stuff. So you're going to see us do the same things here that you are supposed to do. Look at Ryan box out. Now we're trying to pound it in. You'll see we run the same stuff. We're just going to run screen and roll, drive and kick. And there's Ryan again. And you'll see some little things if you watch Ryan play or Evan. You see how physical Ryan is in the post. You'll see that when the shot is missed, Ryan gets inside position. And then the key here is he goes back with his left. It's nice when you have big guys that can rebound and put the ball back in. We've missed 2 shots and gotten 2 buckets on offensive rebound putbacks. Now you'll see that we have some guys that still need to play the game a little bit better than they have. I want everybody in a stance to see man and ball. Now this was a big problem that we had, was our big guys having to guard their guards and forwards. Now we want to cross in transition. It's just pass and move, and we're going to look for mismatches. So right here, it looks like he's trying to get somebody in the post. We don't have it. Turnover, Reeves. Good foul. Let's rewind this. Oh, that's right. We filmed it with pausing. How you run a lane, how you move without the ball. There's our shooter. See, this is our 3-on-2 transition drill. We don't do very well here. Nobody stops the ball. This is our 3-on-2 continuous drill. Nobody stops the ball, and this is a high-level team. Got to stop the ball. I don't think we moved as much on offense as I normally would, and Josh didn't grow up playing with us, so he didn't learn at 12U and 13U how to play. He didn't learn how to pass and move like we all do. He came to us late, so he's still learning. These are the same out of bounds plays we run. Good pass. So you can see here off a pick. You see the pin down here for Sean at the opposite side. And now we're just going to beat our man, force the help, and pass. And that was something I told Josh he had to do more of, which was pass, because he could score at will. And he listened, and he changed his game, and he became more of a passer. Now he's got a scholarship. And trust me, Josh has to get better, and he knows it. Now this was our weakness, a guard being guarded by a big man. So we would have to try to, survive until I could go smaller. But our size was also an advantage on the other side. Can't see with this ref here, but. And these are, like I said before, these are not low-level players. You see a lot of coaches watching. I didn't like our movement. I thought we should move more. Manjos has the freedom to shoot anytime he wants. If you're a good shooter, this is the way we play. It's a good dribble handoff here. And I think at this point they were a little surprised that we were competing as much as we were. They thought it was going to be a walk in the park. That's Sean being taken to the basket a little bit. Ryan's playing pretty well here. But you could see this, the old Josh Reeves, before he got to us, would have just finished this. But he knew that to get to the next level, he had to prove he could be a pass-first point guard. Now it looks like they're going to run some kind of isolation because they have a mismatch. Evan is a big player. He's a post player. And they're going to play with this guard, but Evan didn't give it up to him. Good shot in the corner. And you could see the level of play that you're going to have to get to. That was a bad foul. You'll see me get upset, but Josh swings down at the very end. He does a decent job here. And then right there, even though it's all ball, as you can see, now I'm going to show you some things that I want us to do better on the offensive end. It's one of the things Josh needs to do to get better. Josh a lot of times will pass and stand. He's got to pass and move. It's the biggest weakness he had for us. Good box outs. We have two big guys in there. We should not be giving up rebounds. Now let's watch this. This is what we do well, better than anybody else really. And I had coaches talk to me about this, and it's not difficult to do. But Manjos will run all the way through, and then I believe it's going to be Ryan who pins down, and Manjos will be open. We always, I'm going to go over it later, but we always want to have these wings cross, and then the trailers pin down. So in transition, and this goes for every level, because we run the same thing all the way through. That's half court. Whoever these guys are that are out early, they will cross. Now, they will make reads. If the defender looks like he's running back and cheating, you can go and then pop right back out. But primarily, I want the two wings to cross. The trailers, which would be Evan here and Ryan here, they will pin down like they're in 14. So this guy like Manjos is coming all the way off of this, and he's wide open. We've had games where Manjos has made 6 or 7 of those in a game. Now, once Reeves passes it, he should be screening away. That was something he did not do well, and we had to work on with him. So that this guy would go all the way around and then back off of Josh's screen away. He could be coming off technically 3 screens. Now, if Manjos had made 2 or 3 in a row, whoever, and we are hot, If there's a hot player on the floor, let's say this is Manjos and he's hot. Well, when he's crossing, this guy who's also crossing, instead of crossing, he'll set that screen instead of crossing right away. So now Manjos comes off of that screen. Then he comes off a pin down. So we call it a double stagger. And then the pass would come this way. After you set that screen, you're still coming off. So if someone's hot, whoever it is, if this guy was hot, let's say it's Blade, then Manjos would set that first screen. He come off Manjos, then he comes off the pin down, and then he's wide open. But you will see that we do this, and when we do it well, we're very difficult to guard. This is Manjos here. And he's going to be coming off this screen, and I believe it's Ryan that pins down. And Manjos just made one. He doesn't miss this too often. Catch and shoot. A little bit of a dip. But he has a good release and a quick shot. There's Sean's reach. And you can see because we shoot quick, we get a lot of offensive rebounds. You can see these guys are very aggressive, very physical, very long. We don't necessarily want Ryan dribbling it. And these aren't the teams you're going to see at low-level tournaments. These are teams that are there to get their players to the next level, as are we. So this is no joke. This isn't about winning and losing either. It's about playing the right way. I don't know what the call was here. They called a foul. I think they called a foul on Ryan. See, and what you're going to hear a lot is the other coaches consistently complain, and they are going to complain all game long about our fouling. That we foul too much. We're fouling. Those screens are illegal. They have to complain about the screens because they work. Now, this is Ryan setting a screen. Sean's going to set the second, and Manjos is coming. I think they call the foul on Ryan, and it's a hideous call. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Let's watch Ryan. See, Ryan sticks him. Ryan hits him hard, and they called that foul. It's a bad call. And Manjos made it. So here comes Melvin. That's a bad call. I don't know what they. I'm pretty sure they called it on Ryan, but Manjos is picking up full court because he has to demonstrate that he can. You don't have to steal it. You just have to prove that you can stay with and not get blown by. So right now, that's good defense. He didn't get blown by. That's all you got to demonstrate. You don't have to demonstrate that you're going to get a steal. So now I still got two bigs in, and Melvin's young. At this point, he was a sophomore going to be a junior. This year, he's going to have to be the guy. So we don't rebound. Screen, we didn't hedge it. We're going to talk about that as well. We didn't hedge it. Ryan didn't hedge. But we didn't always hedge right away on the big level if we didn't feel the guys could shoot it. They didn't make it. They get the rebound, and they get three. It seems like every time you give up a rebound, you give up three. That is why we need guys that can rebound. If all you did was rebound, you could play in college. They're that valuable. Now you could see that we're not a very good taking Evan out. We don't have now. We got Josh Reeves posting. So we will post up guards. We will post up centers or forwards. It doesn't matter. It's about the mismatch. And again, we give up another rebound. And now this time Josh will let Sean bring it up the floor. I don't necessarily want Ryan on the perimeter, but we're trying to post up Reeves. So you could see that we're not playing real well, but we're scrapping. And again, it's about the talent you're playing against. Now, I prefer we pick up full court and just like Manjos did the previous time, mix it up a little bit. Now, they're going to try. You can see that good teams go to the post. Good teams want to get the ball into the post. If you're a team that never gets the ball in the post, then you're not a very good team. So now they're calling another foul. And again, you've got three refs all trying to get to the next level. They're going to call it tight. It's just very weak calls. And some refs are calling everything and some call nothing. We're going to give that guy that shot. We're going to see if he can make it. Jump to ball, C-man in ball. Another rebound. So you bring Melvin in and we're giving up rebounds. Now what we should be doing here is calling a set, running 14, which is what we did, and Manjos made a read, and that's a miss. You want to know why Ryan's playing in college? Watch Ryan hustle on this. First of all, Manjos makes a great read, but he should have shot that one, didn't. So now he's out of rhythm, and then he chucks up an air ball. Now watch Ryan. That's speed. That's hustle. Those things matter. And then Manjos gets taken to the rack. This is Manjos' size. He kind of crosses him over, shoots right through him. He missed his last one with an air ball. Got to forget about it. Make your next one. Ryan is really kind of keeping us in the game with all the rebounding. We're not shooting well. Now Dez is coming in, and those of you that don't know Dez Pratt, he is probably our best defender, period. Perry's coming in. He's more of our shooter. He's a grinder. But Dez is out there because he's a great defender. Good defense by Ryan. And when I was a college coach and I was traveling to these tournaments, it didn't take me long to know who I wanted to recruit. Perry just came in. Probably not a good idea shooting threes right off the bench, which is good. Look how Ryan's playing physical in there. Another turnover. We're not moving the ball enough. The ball's sticking. Good teams have great ball movement. We're going to give him that until he proves he can make it. That's an air ball. You can see the way Ryan runs the floor. Another bad turnover by Josh. Look like he tries to dunk this on Melvin. He can't call that from there. So we're not playing very well. There's Perry coming off this, off that cross. Airball Dez. So you could see that this is not, it's not like we're playing at a high level here. A lot of air balls. You can't have air balls at this level. That's like the third. Here's Brian coming in. I think Brian will be a Division II, Division I player. Depends on how well he develops and how hard he works. But on this team, he's young. We got older players that need more run. That's a good hedge by This is a good job by Melvin here. He doesn't really hard hedge, but he hedges enough to get him to throw it away. Good job by Melvin. Good turnover. Melvin's long. We got to get him better in the post. He's not a weapon in the post yet. There's Perry from the corner. Belaid's got to grab that. And he knows it. And you see these guys behind the scorer's table, sometimes they're looking for numbers to make sure it matches up with what they have on the roster. College coaches. Good play by Perry, and they count it. If you're a shooter, they're going to take away your shot. His shot is slow because his feet aren't set. They took away the shot. That opens up the drive, and then you have to drive to contact. You have to run into people, and they count that play. And I like to play the three guys together that are all going to Shelton, which is Belaid, Perry, and Melvin, who had a great year, all three of them. So you can see that he wants this screen. Is Melvin going to hard hedge again? He soft hedges, and it works. We're going to really have to emphasize how we play pick and roll defense, and I'm going to go over that later. That'll be an instructional video we'll send you in the middle of the week. Great teams have post players. If you dump it into the post, you're a good team. They're dumping this into the post, and they're looking into the post every time. Jump hook, good defense, better offense. You can tell if a team is good or not, usually by how often they look in the post. That's an easy shot for Belaid. He's got to make it. That's Reeves tipping. And see, this is something Josh has to get better. He knows it, but he's very easy to coach. But in the old days, Josh would just take guys and score every time. Now he's become more of a passer. He gives up the ball. He still makes a ton of mistakes, but he works hard, and the mistakes he makes are easy to fix. Belaid with a bit of a hedge. Good job, Perry, fighting through it. There's a good job. I don't know, who was that? Belaid. But you could see they're looking to go inside. Belaid does a pretty good job there. Now they're going to post Belaid up because he's kind of small. By the way, Belaid's like 6'3". Belaid taps that away. It's really nice when you are a coach that you have great defensive players like Des Pratt. Okay, like Melvin. Guys that can block shots, play on-ball defense, man, it sure makes coaching easy. They called a foul on Reeves. This is the kind of shot, are you good enough to make this? Josh gets it. We've worked on this since he was young. Kind of a rip through here, a rip through, a one dribble, step back, mini step back, pull up jumper. He missed it, but he got the foul before that. That's a high level move. Now we should be stacking this, and Melvin should be in the strong side post, and you'll see Melvin come there. But he went too early because this ref is holding it for an hour. My gosh. Come on. I have my guy in the post ready to catch it, and you're holding the ball for 30 minutes. So now they front the post. Belaid's got to be aggressive. He is now. He wasn't then. Good shot for Perry. And you'll see he has a real problem with footwork. So he catches it flat-footed. But his follow-through and his release is above his head, and he has good follow-through. And Perry's the kind of player, if he makes a couple, he'll make 9. He's what we would call a streaky shooter. Perry's a McDonald's All-American nominee. First team all this, first team all that, and he's coming off the bench on this team. Something else Perry is very good at is his weak side defense. What is this? Watch Perry's weak side defense. Sees man in ball, and he'll come over on this drive and save this layup. Now, he doesn't really see his man well, but he saves that layup. And Melvin's did a pretty good job of rebounding all year. He's going to have to get better at it. See where Josh doesn't cut? That's the area that I think he needs to work at the most. All of you need to understand that. And again, it's because he didn't play for us when he was 13 and 12. So he didn't understand this as you guys will. He had been playing with us basically since April. So when you pass the ball here, I want you cutting through. Melvin could have come over and set an on ball, or he could dive to the low post. Perry's coming out to the wing. Dez could come over. We could swing it. After Reeves clears and posts, we swing it to Dez, swing it to Reeves. Melvin could roll into the strong side post. Perry could fly over the top. Constant movement. But what Josh does is he throws it and then he backs up. And he doesn't cut. Those of you that have been playing with us since you're 13, when you're playing at this level, you'll cut. And it will open everything up. See how we're not really open? It's because Josh passed and he retreated because that's all he knows. And this is Perry's feet. Belade should have cut. Belade didn't cut. So that jammed everything up on that side. It's a shaky call. But you could see that if you don't do what you're supposed to do, it turns into a turnover. And this is Belade here, not cutting through. Perry's coming. So Belade stops and it jams everything up. Belade should have sprinted through where Dez could set the screen. Perry would have been open. Reeves throws it to Perry. Reeves cuts. Melvin could be a reversal. But you got two guys doing things wrong. Josh doesn't cut after he passes it. And Belade doesn't cut through. And he stops right there. And here comes Perry into that corner. So now it jams everything up. So Perry has to kind of stop. Reeves has to back up. Now you got guys not really where they're supposed to be. And then you got the travel. I don't know if it was either. It didn't look pretty. Melvin with the decent hedge. We're going to give them that shot until they prove they can make it. Good box out by Melvin. Watch Melvin box out here. Great box out. Look at Belade out here. Boxing out. Perry. Reeves and Dez really don't, but their guys aren't going to the boards. But that's a great box out. You don't have to score to go play in college. Dez doesn't understand that sometimes. Melvin doesn't. You're a great rebounder or a great defender, you're going to get recruited. But if that's all you can do, well, then you're going to be limited. See, we're missing shots. Let's watch Perry's activity here. This is a really good play as far as you've got Perry circling around. Then you've got Belade popping. Perry cuts through. Watch Melvin set this screen here. And Dez. And Perry's open. Now his feet have always been his problem. See how he catches it and his feet aren't ready? So it takes him a long time to get ready. Then he brings that foot up and he's not consistent. Still a shot he should have made. He misses it. But his problem has always been his footwork. And he just wasn't willing to put the time in to get the footwork better. We're not shooting well. But our defense is above average. And it's because they're so used to posting us up. And they're looking in the post every time. And because we have good post defenders, It's tough. It's not easy. And then they call this other foul pretty weak. And that's why I'm yelling at the ref. I mean, you got to let it play, man. If you're going to call that foul. Melvin did zero wrong on that. But this is not, we are not playing as well as we normally do because Manjos is our shooter. He chucked up an air ball. Dez chucks up an air ball, but that's not Dez's job. But they're used to powering in. They're used to being able to beat us up. I have no problem with that shot. This guy's much bigger than Perry. Tries to post him up. Perry didn't let him. We're going to give this guy that shot with the hand in his face, and he makes it. Like I said, these are pretty good players. When they sent out the flyer to get teams to register, these are one of the highlighted teams that were there. One of the high-level teams. I need guys that just do their job. I don't need you to do more than you're supposed to do. We have Perry, who's the shooter. Belade could be a driver. We have Josh, who's your creator. And we have guys out there doing their jobs. There's the screen. He doesn't use it. He gets in the lane, and he gets the foul call. And Josh didn't get a lot of breaks because I had coaches there watching him. So I didn't take him out too much. No one was there watching Belade. He's still young. But they'll be watching him this year. So they're going to come down, and they're going to look to pound it in. They're looking for their mismatch. Good hedge by Perry. Good defense by Belade. And he still got to the rim. Belade's weakness is his on-ball defense. He gets body bumped there, and then he kind of comes off of this and doesn't beat him to a spot, has a hand on his back. Melvin should have been in better help. Belade was still getting better. He wasn't at this level yet. He is this year. There's Perry coming off that cross. Dez has to just look to move the ball. That's a great job by Belade. This is the way you're supposed to play. You have to drive to contact. When I tell players, if you want to play at this level, you have to drive to the contact. You cannot avoid it. So Belade blows by this guy, and he's got to jump into this guy and force the foul. If he tries to avoid it, it's not going to work. One thing I always loved about Melvin is watch how he comes off the court. I love that. I love when guys play like that. It matters, trust me. And when coaches are watching, it matters. I think Belade is an offensive player. I think Belade can get any shot he wants. I think Belade is a lot better than he thinks he is. And that's a problem. If he doesn't play like an alpha dog, if he doesn't play like he's the best player on the floor, then he's not going to be that good. So they're running this pick and roll again. We're not worried about it way out there at this level. This guy's one of their better players. And right now he's abusing Belade a little bit. He thinks he can just take him. So right here, Belade lunges, reaches, and then basically Evan sets a screen on his own guy. Too much dribbling, not enough movement. See, we got to get the ball inside too. Now they switched. That was an okay decision, but let me tell you what I wanted on that play. Is they switched, you got to go inside. So watch this. Switch. You got to get the ball into the mismatch inside. Now Belade has a mismatch too, but he's got to bounce past this right into Evan. That's a bad decision by him. You bounce pass it into Evan, and then you go in the corner. Just a bad read. Bounce past that, float into the corner. Reeves comes up. Evan can back him down and go to a jump hook. If they double, he's got options. Perry should be out. Should be 4 out, 1 in. So if they switch, I want all the guys out here so that he can move in the post like he wants. Now, does Blade have a mismatch? Yeah, he has the big guy on him. He's got to make that shot. I think Tina's not on the bench because she's got a game on the other side of the gym. I can't remember who she was coaching. We have a 15 national and then we had a 17 blue. And Reeves could have done this every time down the floor, but that wasn't going to get him recruited. This is a great screen by Evan, and they switched it again. And then they had to switch back, and that was too much time. Gave Josh that three. If you think they're going to switch the on-ball screen, then you got to set more on-ball screens. You got to set more big little screens. Because if they keep switching, you're going to have a mismatch. Now this guy's taken Blade a couple times, so he doesn't think he needed it. Then he did. And you have to make reads when you're playing the game to see what each player wants to do. Is this guy an outside guy? Is this guy an inside guy? Does this guy go left, go right? Does this guy shoot off the screens? Does this guy look only off pick and roll? So right now they're trying to pound it in. They're trying to pound it in. There's Perry with the hard hedge. And it's not easy because our bigs are not weak. Now this is a pretty good possession. Here's Perry with the hard hedge that makes this guy retreat. Now Perry's got to get back. And then we just don't get this loose ball. Now they're going to pick it up a notch. I think the game is close. And I remember them being frustrated by that. Perry does a good job of moving without the ball. It's a good play by Evan. Blown layup by Perry. See, these are plays that I love because we're physical. Evan's got to make this into more of a jump hook. He shot a swinging hook. He missed. Perry battles, but gets the rebound because of Evan's second effort. He misses a baby hook. Dez is going to be in here. He's going to fight for that rebound. He's going to get the loose ball. And Perry scoops it in. Great job by Dez doing what he does. Dez is a great on-ball defender. That could have been a charge. Good. Blade is not. He's getting there, but he's not. He keeps getting isolated by this guy. Good job by Perry. And they called the charge. Probably a bad call, but great effort by Perry. Pretty good possession all the way through, and it starts with Dez. It's hard to beat Dez off the dribble. If I have an on-ball defender, he's going to play a lot. Dez is just tenacious. Perry's good D there. Blade's good D here. You see Evan protecting the rim. Evan's protecting the rim. Evan's at the rim. Evan's not hugging his guy. And there's your charge. And a lot of that's Evan. I mean, when we say don't hug your man, look at Evan. Evan's man is in that corner. And Evan's right here. So if anybody gets beat, Evan's there. And he's going to give up that jumper to that big man out there. He doesn't care about him out there. Blade does a good job here not getting beat. Not falling for the jumper on the step back. Evan is there. You see where Evan is? And then Perry gets in front. And he did dip his shoulder. But those are the kind of plays you want. You need guys on the floor. You need a defender like a Dez. You need a guy that takes charges and grinds it out. You need shooters. You need ball handlers. Now you bring Sean back in. They're denying Reeves. They don't want Reeves touching the ball. So you let Sean bring it up. Sean's a point guard. You see what they're doing with Reeves? Their coach is yelling, deny, deny, don't let him catch it. And it's not like Reeves is dominating. So Josh says, okay, you bring it up, and then I'll go take a break. Sean should be a great defender with his length and his reach. So we've got, Dez can bring it up, Sean can bring it up, Mandros can bring it up. We got guys that can bring it up. Blade. Don't force it, good. Keep ball reversal, good. Perry's got to make those plays. Perry's got to make those plays. You know what makes Reeves great? Because he could post up. He's a point guard that can post up, and they are worried about that post. And they are helping in that post. And you can see it. When you've got a great post player, you could see all the attention it draws. And then that leaves your shooter wide open. You would hope Perry can make that shot. He drives it and makes a pretty good play. Just doesn't finish. That's a tough play. Who's he beat on this? And Evan is there too. Dez is back. He drives it at Dez, but Evan is there. And that's a tough play. These guys are good. This is not an average team. Sean's got to go harder on that. He's got to get to the rim quicker. And he will. Sean's a lot better today than he was at this point. Same with Blade. Same with Melvin. That's a horrible screen by Perry. Wow, that was pretty ugly. What was this? First of all, this is on this out of bounds play that we all run. They're calling box Perry. Perry is supposed to set this back screen here. Josh sets him up and comes off. And then Evan sets that screen, and Perry, after he sets the screen, will come off of that. I don't think Perry touches the guy. And then Perry's open and throws up this flopperoo, and they get the call. Like Perry doesn't barely touch him. Perry should have stuck him. But because of the screen action, they had to help on Reeves, and they didn't switch it. So now Perry is wide open. But the pass took too long to get there, and it was a bad pass. And I guess he got hit on that off arm right there. That's pretty weak, but he did airball it, so he must have been hit. I like the sub off of free throws where we could set our defense. I don't call timeouts until the end of the game. So if you're one of those kids that used to, every time they go on a 6-0 run, your coach calls a timeout because you're so mentally weak, you can't handle it, and you need a timeout to stop the run, then you can't play at this level. You know how many times I've heard mommies and daddies when they're younger, call timeout. Why are you not calling timeout? Well, the reason is because you don't know how to coach and you've probably never played the game before. If a team goes on a 22-0 run, I'm not calling timeout. I want you to figure it out, like a college coach would want you to figure it out. Steal by Perry. Again, what is this team trying to do? They're trying to post. They tried to post Evan. Now, this was a problem that we had with Perry, and we still do, where Perry doesn't guard his man and just randomly doubles. So Perry's guy, if they don't throw this pass, Perry's guy's wide open. Luckily, they threw the pass. But I believe this is Perry's guy. And he's going to be wide open. So if he just fakes that pass and throws it there and Perry's guy bangs a three, Perry's out. But Perry randomly doubles and he gets the turnover here. We need better ball movement. I don't like our ball movement. We're holding it. I think we're going to go last shot here pretty soon. Good pass into the post. Good jump hook. Beautiful. Beautiful jump hook. Ball's not moving quick enough. Perry does a good job of dumping this in. And now you can see the effect of having good shooters. Because if you throw the ball in, and I've got guys being guarded on the perimeter, Now it's up to the big man to make a move and score. There's no doubles. There's no help. Evan does a great job of making this little baby hook here. Perfect. I like Sean picking up. I think this guy number 4 was one of their better players. Here's the on-ball screen. Evan's got a talk on it. Good job of Sean going under it. Oh boy. Good decision there. Good decision. So you'll see this, Sean. Evan is talking. Screen left, screen left, screen left. And you can see that he just goes right under it. Not a problem. He hasn't proven he's going to make that jumper from that deep. Now this shot goes up. Perry tries to block it, which is stupid. Evan with the great box out. And boxed him out enough for the ball to get to Perry. Now here, Perry's 1-on-2. It's not his game. That's not his lane. He's not good in those moments. So he does a good job of getting the ball to our guy. And you can see Josh look at the clock. We're probably going to go one shot. And then he gets the foul. Now, I didn't like a lot of the front crossovers here. He goes through his leg, through his leg, through his leg. There. And then there's the foul. Good call because he bodied him up. And you got enough shooters out there that he's able to get to the rim. You got to be in shape. If you're going to play, if you want to play, you got to be in shape. Josh hasn't come out. Again, I have coaches there watching him. I know where Ryan and Everett are going. They're locked in. Great job there by Evan. Beautiful job. I think that's the end of the half. And you could see here they tried to isolate because he's quicker than Evan. Evan moving his feet. Great job. Both these guys are staying down. Great job. And it shows that the big guys can move their feet with smaller guys. I don't know. So that's the end of the first half. So as a coach, and I would say this at the timeouts, there wasn't a lot. You don't see them calling a lot of timeouts either. I mean, real coaches and real teams don't call timeouts in the first half. The only time I'm calling a timeout in the first half is if I don't call it, then we lose it. Like in some tournaments, they'll say you have 4 timeouts, 2 in each half, and they don't carry over. Well, then I'll call a timeout. But I am not calling a timeout in the first half because your team's on a 7-0 run so that I could call a timeout and say, okay, let's run horns. Really? Then some idiot who's never played the game before will say, well, you could stop the momentum. And you know what stops momentum? Executing your offense and scoring. That's what stops the momentum. So they're on a 7-0 run. We come down. Okay, guys, let's run our best play. Let's run horns for Reeves. Come off, horns. Boom. Reeves up and under. Gets to the rim. And one. Run over. Momentum stopped. Only idiots who've never played the game don't understand that. And some coaches might have a different philosophy. That's fine. I got mine from Coach Wooden. Bottom line is, if you have to call timeout to tell your team to do something they should already know, then you're not a very good coach. I am not calling timeouts in the first half. I'm just not. I'll sub. I'll do different things. I'll tell my player if he's real smart, hey, if they're on a run, commit a foul. Slow the game down. But just bottom line, execute. Play good defense, get a rebound, bring it down the floor, get it to your right guy in the mismatch, score, run over. Grow up. Show some mental toughness. Quit being so weak. So that's our philosophy. If that's too much for you, then go play for someone else who will understand that you're not good enough to do that for. If I have to call timeout in the first half, it's because you're not very good. And you don't even know what to run. So figure that out. If you're going to end up playing for me one day, that's the way it's going to be. And I'm not calling a timeout at the end of the game. You're going to have the ball in the right guy's hands, and the right guy's going to take the shot. Okay, first half over.